Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever, whenever that you may be tuning in. This is Yonks, and very excited. I'm always pretty excited for anybody that's been following along, but very excited about AI for real estate. And this is our season one where we're going to be doing a deep dive using AI for real estate. And join with me here. I'm hoping to be a regular co-host on AI for real estate is Jason Webb. Over to you, Mr. Webb.
Hello, everybody. Jason Webb. I'm super excited for AI for real estate. I've done real estate for most of my life, been in and out of it. I'm super excited about our guest today, Youngs. This is an amazing thing that we have building with AI. AI is your friend. It's not something that we need to be shying away from. It's here to stay. We might as well use it and harness it as a tool for our kingdom, right? So I'm excited, brother. Thank you for having me as a co-host.
Yeah, and if you could give us a quick introduction for Kristian there with Create Assistants.
Of course, Christian Moore here. I've known Christian for the last few years. One of the smartest gentlemen I know in AI. Man, he's got some extreme talents when it comes to AI and programming and prompting. And he's dove into the real estate side of this, and I'm super excited to be talking about this today. And he's right down the road from us here in Colorado, in Colorado Springs. But Christian, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Yonks. Appreciate the introduction, and I'm super grateful to be here.
So why don't we just start off? Tell us about how the Create Assistants AI came into being. What's your AI backstory?
Yeah, the first real application that we hit the market with when it comes to AI chat and communication tools like this was actually for online businesses, coaches, and agencies, where we were able to really generate appointments at an extremely high rate using completely automated technology through social media. So we started on Facebook, ended up transitioning to a couple of different platforms, eventually got into SMS and email, and then voice opened up. And these channels followed a sequential progression, and it just made sense to be able to provide something that could talk to people and to prospects across multiple different modes of communication without skipping a beat and while retaining all of that memory. So when we really saw the capability of the voice mature, we really started to open up the doors to multiple different industries, and real estate was a huge focus for us straight out of the gate. And this was all centered around the common problem that many real estate agents and agencies have, which is centered around speed to lead and actually getting to those individuals that are looking to sell or looking to buy as quickly as possible once they've made that decision. And it's been about 2 years or so since we first stepped into this space, and man, AI has transformed a lot since then. I'm sure you guys have seen tremendous leaps and bounds as well.
I'm probably not as far down personally of some of the AI rabbit holes due to some philosophical reasons that I'm not going to unpack here. But I'm gonna kick it over to you, Webb, for guiding us through the next question for our friend here, Kristian.
Yeah, no, with your AI backstory, I know more about things than most people do with with your journey with an AI piece. As we talk about create assistance and real estate and how this conversational agent can help guide people through finding people that are selling properties, if it's for the real estate agents themselves, if it's for the individual people selling their houses. I would love for you to talk about how that really flows. Like what are you building AI agents for?
Yeah, the number one thing that these AI agents for are being used as direct response to inbound communication from advertising.
Mhm.
Um, and so when you're working with an ad budget of any kind, obviously your dollars are working for you overnight. They're working for you on the weekend sometimes. And being able to actually keep up with that on a regular basis without losing any of those leads that your hard-earned dollars are paying for, is the number one piece of the puzzle that our AI solution solves. The other piece of this puzzle comes down to being able to provide information and answer questions, for things like open houses, different showings, and even real estate events, so that you can follow up with those individuals that are looking to get the answers on the houses, or get the answers from you on how they can sell their house as quickly as possible, without having to expand your staff, hire on more people, or find a way to staff the phones overnight.
Let me ask you a quick question. So, how can your AI tool help real estate professionals earn more money?
One of the biggest ways they can earn more money with this tool is first just by catching more of those potential listings or potential home buyers, that are coming to them, that would go with a different option that got to them faster. Those missed opportunities that are just sitting on the table. Um, the other side of the coin comes down to being able to expand the outreach to more markets.
Mhm.
One of the biggest opportunities that we've seen these days is in the recent changes to the laws surrounding direct outreach
And you just
through
beat me to the
tools.
question, Christian.
Apologies for that.
Oh, it's
Um,
okay.
it it really comes down to being able to expand out, and scale beyond what your current capacity is without having to add more staff,
Yeah.
or create more complexity for your business.
Well, like you just basically touched on that briefly about the AI regulations and complying with that because, you know, there's anti-spam laws and all these things out there, but there was just a recent Supreme Court ruling, and I know none of us here are legal experts, so please do not take that as any kind of legal things that we're going to be talking about here or any kind of expertise with that. But one just came out, right, about outreach in terms of people selling their houses.
Yeah, specifically with the texting laws and the way that you can reach out to people for inquiring about the home that they're selling. So this is specifically for those off-market deals, and this is additional potential revenue that um, could just be sitting on the table in your local area that you would be able to take advantage of using this strategy, because now we are able to do that direct outreach without having to specifically regard the DNC laws, because we are not reaching out to offer a service, but rather to purchase the home, purchase something from them. And
Makes
in
sense.
those cases, in that language, that verbiage is really, really important. So it obviously, doing your own research with this is critical, but being able to access that additional market could open up tremendous amounts of revenue for the agency or an individual agent, even, especially for those that are more open to doing those creative deals, um,
Mhm.
and off-market opportunities.
So let me just kind of put this into easy words, and you know me, I'm pretty simple on this. So you're telling me like we can pull lists of people using AI that they might be looking to sell their property, they might have distressed property like that, and now we can use AI agents to basically dial out and try to reach out to them at scale. So you can do 1,000 dials a day or so to try to get in front of them. And there's nothing wrong with that. And now you have an AI agent doing all of these outbound dials and then bringing deals to you, qualifying these things. Am I right?
Well, we would be limited to just the texting channels, unfortunately, but
Okay.
the outreach would still be able to be done completely on autopilot,
And
with
that's
this method for
conversational
sure.
and everything, right? Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Interesting. So that's one way right there for real estate and real estate community to make money is because now they can get more listings, they can get more people, in those conversational pieces. So all the AI agents can handle all piece of those, and especially as you build these out, you can have it now finding these leads for you, reaching out to these leads, qualifying these leads, and then bringing them to you. And that this is an AI agent that you can build. So that's really cool. But that Supreme Court filing a ruling is very powerful in that. But again, please do your own research on that. We are not expert and any we are not legal experts at all. But man, Young, so you want to keep going? What do you think?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And one of the things here, this season one AI for real estate live stream podcast that we're creating right now with Kristian on as a featured AI expert with Create Assistants. One of the things that we're also doing is a peer learning cohort primarily geared towards real estate professionals. And one of the main benefits, well, there's actually two main benefits that those participants are going to be having by participating in this cohort is we're building towards an MVP, a we own AI agency that we're calling RE.box. And we're really excited to explore what is the right conversational AI agent for including within this AI agency for real estate professionals. And talking about creating a new pipeline of deal flow opportunities for real estate professionals, one of the things that we're absolutely going to be building towards is creating a new campaign that we're calling the American Dream. And you think about like real estate has historically been a foundational aspect of this great ideology, the American dream, go to college, get a good job, get a white picket fence. And for most people, that's especially younger generations, millennials, even more so with Gen Z, the due to the high cost of real estate here in the United States, that's increasingly out of reach. And one of the things that I'm, as a lifetime technologist, I've personally never been more excited about AI agents. And we're quite literally going to be positioning the new American dream as we own AI agency, and it's got a real estate component in that. But one of the things that we're going to be doing is creating a new pipeline again for these real estate professionals. You talk about generating leads and then uh, messaging. Just was talking before we went on live here, really refining messaging as using StoryBrand, and then elevating, walking people through, providing more opportunities for home ownership. And that's one of the things that we're really excited about. So, looking forward to seeing how Create Assistants can potentially fulfill architecting, building this new American dream. So, that's another way that AI agents can amplify things. But what would you like to chime in some thoughts on that, Kristian, as far as helping us build this American Dream campaign using Create Assistants plus what we're doing with RE.box?
Well, first and foremost, the mission and the vision that you described is something that is picking up steam, not just in the big cities, but also even in rural areas. We have people for the first time, well, maybe not for the first time, but I would say for the first time at scale, buying large amounts of land and developing it for the sake of building homesteads and living communities and different alternative solutions to what the original, right, American dream used to be. I do have a couple visuals if you'd be open to me sharing. I'd love to pull one up just for the sake of being able to have something to point at. But the solution really comes down to being able to provide that instant response and that lead qualification
Mhm.
that brings people the solutions that they're looking for
Before
instantaneously.
before you dive into that, Christian, one question I do want to ask: um, what languages does this whole thing support? Can it do multiple languages? Is it just English? Like, because of course we're multinational here.
Yeah, we do probably about 30 different languages at this
Wow.
point.
Yeah.
We're really proud of the spread that we have, honestly.
Mhm.
It's one of my favorite parts about the platform because being able to provide demos of these AI assistants in languages that I have to translate is a joy to hear. Being able to
Mhm.
hear, perfect fluent German or Russian or Filipino on these assistants is absolutely incredible.
Well,
So we do Spanish, Portuguese, French, Russian, German. There's Yep, there's Chinese even. Um, I believe we have without making the list too exhaustive, I believe we are on every inhabited continent at this point. not necessarily have a complete spread, but we're adding new languages on a nearly monthly basis at this point.
Amazing, amazing, brother. I really appreciate it. So when we talk about that American dream, truly, it can be anybody's American dream to have their own AI agency.
Yep, yep. We had someone in Italy approach us, and
Mhm.
they were wanting to be able to provide solutions, obviously, for their native tongue, and being able to turn that on and make that available was absolutely, life changing for them, and was a joy and a pleasure for us.
Awesome. So as you're going through these visuals here, I would love for you to highlight some of the technologies that you do use, like machine learning, natural language processing, computer vision, just different things as you're talking through this within our audience, man. Um, yeah, go for it. I'll let you take over.
Yeah. So, the big thing here is having that voice and chat all in one platform.
Mhm.
The large language models that we use Anthropic and OpenAI to um, create the output and the responses. And we also have a multi-layer system within, we call it the Guardian system, um, that is designed to act as an oversight, a decision maker for the system. So taking care of that complex thinking for you. We have a speech text processor, and then obviously text to speech for super high quality, human quality like voices, and real-time learning that takes place on the back end, to continuously provide the best experience for both our users and then also the people that are actually being contacted that are interacting with these bots.
Mhm.
Um, this property matching comes down to being able to connect to active listings and listing software, as well as being able to upload static databases, which we use our own proprietary Vercel database system, that performs better than the OpenAI RAG systems as well. We're able to integrate with calendars and just about every CRM that's on the market, and being able to move through these qualification flows is completely customizable.
Mhm.
So we provide the opportunity to inject pieces of information to make sure that all of these conversations are completely specific to the person that the AI is talking to, um, and actually take action based off of the information that is discussed with the prospect. So it's not just able to talk, but it's actually able to act like an employee within the business.
Wow. Yeah, yeah. Interesting. Interesting. It's man, it's fully built out for it. Okay. Um, I see how this can be very useful for the real estate industry and what we're talking about here with AI agents. You can keep going if you'd like to discuss more and just show really use case scenarios.
Yeah, the big thing here, is thinking about all of those times that, you may not be able to actually take those calls,
Hmm.
being able to take that response rate. And these are numbers of increases that we've seen in real time, um, and nearly double it, if not sometimes triple it, within a 30, 60, 90 day process, and increase that speed exponentially. I mean, just looking at this comparison here, 4 hours to 47 seconds, even if that time was 50 minutes, and I would say
Time
that,
is money. Hmm.
most businesses would be proud to say that they respond to leads within the same hour. Being able to respond within the same minute gives you that competitive edge that is going to lead to more closes,
Hmm.
and a reduced cost per qualified lead. Um, so ultimately, we're driving for that bottom line, and really driving for that instant response time, whether that's on the phones for missed calls or for your advertisements, or even providing showing information. Someone, you have an open house and someone's calling in. Do you want to be having to worry about answering the phones while you're demonstrating the beauty of this property that you're showing, or do you want to be able to have your AI assistant, your AI employee, take care of that for you?
Man, that is incredible. Before we dive into some more stuff here, um, you do want to offer the audience something, don't you?
Yeah, yeah. So what we've put together for this is that free AI chatbot. The goal of this is to be able to provide a real life example of what it actually, yeah, there's the link again. I'll pull it up here on the screen.
Hmm.
To be able to actually provide the experience of these AI assistants for your business in real time so that you can actually start to see that benefit. We've seen people be able to take their static websites and turn them into lead generation, lead capture machines, take their Facebook pages, take their Facebook ads, and even, like I said, pull out those AI assistants on the phones and do some serious work dialing inbound and outbound to make sure that all of those channels are covered.
Yeah, that's awesome, brother. So keeping that on there, you guys check this out. It's something that you can jump on here with Kristian and Create Assistants. Get this added so you can now start having conversations with people that are visiting your website and have that chatbot widget there. They'll actually conversate with them. It's not just there to collect data. It'll help qualify those leads for you. Really, really cool stuff that you're building and just something that you want to serve the community with, man. This is incredible. Thank you, Kristian, for that. One
Absolutely.
thing I do want to get into is the garbage in, garbage out mantra of the data, right? And how do we how do we get better with that within the AI world or AI agent world of knowing, hey, yes, we have these people coming to our website, we have these leads coming in. How do we get better with that where you can get more reliable data inputs and outputs and just really touch on that? Because again, leads is a big thing for the real estate world.
Yeah, the quality of the source is going to be the number one key, right? Um, Making sure that you're pulling timely, relevant, and accurate data from trusted sources is going to be the first source. If you're not even getting clean water to start with, how can you hope to have it clean at the end? Um, the next biggest thing is really going to be in making sure that you're providing the AI with the relevant information and removing everything that's not relevant from its direct access. So being able to constrain, keep the model focused, just like you would keep an employee focused, is going to be the number one key to making sure that these models can perform with the data that you give them. So in any context, no matter how good the retrieval system is, you can't overwhelm it. Just like if I were to, just unload, 40 different facts without actually taking the time to unpack them, we wouldn't be able to actually explore the topics that I bring up.
Yeah.
But if we go one at a time, we can take these and unpack it and put it
Yeah.
back nicely, if you will, and take the next one out. So being able to separate out that data, and actually not just throw, a whole load in is going to be another key to success there. But quality, it all comes down to pulling the right information and making sure that that's accurate and up to date.
Okay. Um, of course, data security is huge, right? Especially in this space. Uh, how how do we keep the data secure as we're pulling it in? I know I want to talk about that. I want to talk about some CRM integrations because the CRM is a big piece of that. Uh, with your Create Assistants, is there a certain, platform or CRM that you need to use, or can you use multiple ones? I know the answer, but I got to ask you.
Yeah, we're able to actually plug this into multiple different ones, and we use a GDPR and CCPA compliant data handling with encryption across every single layer, multiple levels of encryption, and multiple account layers as well, to make sure that all of the data within the account stays where it's supposed to, and that unauthorized access doesn't happen. We do have the ability to turn on and off different data collection measures, and we never share or sell that information outside of the platform. So with opt-in, we do collect that information for the sake of improving the models and increasing the effectiveness and performance across multiple different benchmarks. But you can also opt out of that and keep your data out of that learning process as well. Yeah, data security is number one, when we're dealing with customer data and public information. It's super, super important stuff. So I'm really glad you asked that.
Awesome. Junks, what do you think?
Yes. So what do I think? I'm always curious what other people are asking Google. And one of the questions that people also ask when I Google AI for real estate is, can AI replace a real estate agent? So, with you being our featured AI expert here today, Christian, what is your stance on this question? Can AI replace a real estate agent?
So it's a complex and it's a loaded question. It put me on the spot with this one, Yonks. And at the end of the day, the answer to this question um, is tipping more and more and more to yes. And I'll say that with a caveat that being a real estate agent is a very complex activity. It's not a walk in the park, and it's not as straightforward as just connecting a person to a house. So while there may be an increased demand just with the nature of the American consumption model of I need it now and instant gratification and give it, that there's a desire for this completely hands-free automated experience of real estate to where you don't even have to talk to a person, you can just buy a house. But legally, we're not there yet.
I think like you said,
Realistically,
it eventually will move there, but it's a ways away because there still needs to be that human interaction. There's much more that you have to wrap around the actual real estate transaction, right? And so I think you were correct, Christian, that's saying that I think it can eventually get there, but it's still a ways away. We're
yeah.
not really even close to that, right?
Right. And that's where just understanding the specific scopes and use cases where it can take those extra effort
Mhm.
off or extra activity off of the plate of a real estate agent, but in no way, shape, or form would is and I don't believe it exists either in
Yeah.
any way, shape, or form of a platform that replaces all of the faculties of an AI or of a real estate agent. Um, there's pieces and there's components, but absolutely in no way, shape, or form could it do the whole job.
Yeah, well, I want to get into some actual performance and results, Yonks, if you're okay with this, to see how like you've actually utilized this within the real estate, world. About, do you have any case studies like measurable outcomes? I know you might have some of those on your screen, and I maybe stepped ahead of that with things that you can share, but just some measurable outcomes. Is it faster sales? Is it higher occupancy rates for renter, like for owners? I know, of course, reduced costs are there. But the proof, the purpose of this is like the proof and not just promises, right? So show us some things.
Absolutely. Let me pull up some of these metrics here.
Okay.
And while I'm doing that, I just want to reiterate that the speed to lead across all of these categories, um, we've seen it increase the bottom line revenue through three key areas. And the first one being um, with increased retention just from having happier clients um, that are getting the answers that they are looking for without having to wait for them or find them somewhere else.
Mhm.
The other side of this is in an increased amount of appointments. So this is just a quick screenshot of a commercial real estate account. They went from 15% to 28% on the appointments that they were booking, and this was within about 110 or so different conversations. Um, Approximately saved about 7 hours, 8 hours or so. And this is based off of the human involvement that would normally take. And that those 110 conversations turned into 17 appointments booked, where in a normal case, that would have turned into something more like maybe 8 or 9.
Wow.
So being able to double that appointment rate from the just the installation of a chatbot, not even to mention additional, layering of improving service, was a is a huge component there. And obviously that bottom line is all dependent upon what those appointments are entailing, Um, maybe these appointments are just check-ins, or maybe these appointments are more centered on following up, not necessarily directly related to sales, but at the end of the day, it's increasing the retention, it's increasing the actual appointment booking rate, and then the showing rate for those appointments as well.
Perfect. Perfect. Man, those some pretty straightforward numbers right there.
Absolutely. Yeah. And at the end of the day, it really comes down to that speed. We're in a day and age when the the importance of communicating quickly, efficiently, and accurately is never been more important. And I just pulled up here, the residential side. This was a residential account where we took them from 31% to 49% across 200 conversations, and we're able to turn 62 of those conversations into actual appointments that were booked. Or I'm sorry, 127 of those conversations into 62 of those appointments that were booked.
That is
Um,
unreal. We talk about, time being money right here. So you're looking at, reduced costs, you're looking at higher booking rates, you're looking at that speed to lead. Because say you are a real estate agent, you're actually out showing properties, things you can't necessarily answer. Well, guess what? Your AI agent can handle a lot of these conversations at the front end. Man, that's big time. Those are big numbers. I wasn't expecting that big of a number. That's amazing. Yonks, what do you
yeah,
thought? What are your thoughts?
speed is powerful.
Well, the results are the biggest value proposition, I believe. Like when you unpack like all of the technology complexity, I'm not going to pretend to know as much as Christian does about AI, and but at the end of the day, we want results and we want to have more time with our families, and that's one of the things that I think that very, very excited to amplify, because I'm of the belief that, and we're not quite there yet, but building towards where we can really create an amazing experience. Because I really envision that how that we interact with technology is going to change substantially with the proliferation of AI agents.
Mhm.
But this is probably a good segue. I don't feel that we've gotten a clear answer from you, Christian, as far as there's an increasing amount of players in the conversational AI agent space. What would you say is really a differentiator with yourself and Create Assistants from some of the other players in the space?
Nope, we got you on mute there, Christian.
And I appreciate you asking that again. And the number one thing is going to be the combination of voice and chat into one platform. Um, and these voice and chat systems are focused on performance and integration, open integration, to provide them as much interaction, or so sorry, to provide them as much context and information as possible. So those two components put together gives us, I believe, the only multi-channel platform that covers both voice and chat, and then all of the other platforms as well, and the most actionable AI
Mhm.
platform that is on the market as well, um, which really sets us apart from just being a chatbot provider, because now we're in a lot of ways providing staffing and solutions, employees that are not just talking in a business or talking on behalf of a business, but are actually executing tasks, making decisions,
Mhm.
and performing real work inside of an organization. Um, so whether that's appointments or processing those transcripts or following up, um, taking those agents into voice and chat and providing them the hands and the feet to actually do the things that they need to do on those calls and in those conversations,
Mhm.
um, is the number one thing that sets us apart here.
So thinking about that with creating AI employees that you've talked about here, so now you can have them call, text, have conversations, and then actually process some of these things. And now you can maybe check out like market values and stuff of the properties, see where that'd be research on those. Can
Yep.
you fine tune these agents like per market, per customer base, per property? I know you showed us some commercial stuff. You showed us some residential stuff. Can you really dial that in, or is that just kind of all over the board?
Yeah, so we have assistants that are specifically designed for off-market opportunities for the commercial side, for the home seller and home buyer sides
Mhm.
of real estate agency. And these scripts are tailored to the specific pain points, the specific solutions that they're looking for, and the specific actions that need to be taken in those different conversations. Um, so all of those different needs are all mapped out within the system in a template style format, giving real estate agents the ability to really take a plug and play solution and solve the problems that they're experiencing with lead generation and follow up um, in a really short period of time.
Amazing. Let me ask you then, because as AI is going to be taking over all this, maybe a lot of the real estate professionals don't have a lot of, tech skills, or when it comes to AI pieces on there, what kind of oversights needed from a human level? Can they review it, override, audit the AI decisions, outputs? Like what kind of human oversights needed?
Yeah, so these models, they are pre-trained by our system to be as human-like as possible, and any additional modification can be done within the platform with extreme ease and simplicity by even people that are completely tech challenged.
Mhm.
Um, the system gives people the ability to take complete control over the design of their employees, and the oversight would be similar to what you would put over a regular employee. You would have some degree of management and some degree of accountability. Um, so just like a regular employee, you would employ some type of management, and
Yeah,
if that's outsourced and provided for the real estate agent, that's one thing. But being able to manage that in-house is one of the huge benefits that our full service application provides.
interesting. Um, I know we talked about some integration when it comes to some ERM or CRMs and different things, and then building out the agents like I just talked about there. Can your platform like integrate with some accounting platforms or maybe some Zillow API, MLSs, multi-listing services, things like that to really pull in values so it can give like a full base to say, hey, look, now our AI agent has reached out to a client. Okay, like you said, they booked 62 calls or whatever it was on the residential side, but now I can actually get that in front of the actual real estate agent that we're talking about here and have them a full profile of that client. So when they actually do meet with them, they can say, here's the property, here's the details of it, here's the market analysis of it. Can it do all of those pieces?
Yeah, so with the power of these different applications and a couple extra integrations, we're able to take the live data and pull that information live. So the moment that person's calling in is the moment that Zillow is being queried and the MLS is being queried to see what's available that matches those specific
Wow.
um, parameters, and
Mhm.
then the real estate agent is really able to put the research into the hands of the assistant and let go of that component completely.
That's crazy. So now you're replacing, like you said, some employees that are doing research on market values to see where, comps are coming in, all of these pieces. And now you're setting the appointment. Real estate agent has it already booked in your calendar because it'll book your calendar, right? And then
Mhm.
actually go meet. So you have a full profile. You're ready to go. That saves
Yep.
time, and that improves workflow efficiency. That's huge.
It's like having an entire agency behind your back as a real estate agent, even if you're operating on your own.
Youngs, thoughts? That's crazy.
That's why I'm quite speechless and so excited about AI agents. And just going back to the big value proposition, quite simply, one word, results, and the opportunities for us to amplify results and not shy away from technology, but embrace it to just create a better experience with clients going through the complicated, because at the end of the day, like for a lot of people, home ownership is a lot of the times their single biggest asset in the asset portfolio. And at least that's been the case historically. I'm not sure if that's going to be the case for younger generations, just due to the higher barriers of entry of home ownership that we've already talked about. But yeah, like I can literally talk about these things all day long. We're really excited to facilitate this peer learning cohort with real estate professionals that are absolutely not afraid to embrace AI, where they can better position themselves for success and get more results for family and deliver better experience for their clients, the customers that they serve. But we'll amplify those conversations through our peer learning cohort. As I mentioned, we're planning to coalesce around a single conversational AI agent here those conversations will be unfolding here over the next several weeks, but middle of July, and there may be an opportunity for having you back in for an office hours or a demonstration or something like that in the future. But I am very excited, Kristian, to have you on as our featured AI expert today. Do you have any closing thoughts for us yourself, Mr. Webb?
Yeah, I would love to throw in, I'll throw it in the chat here, so people can actually get a demo here with Christian and see what this is really looking like. But man, this is a game changer. Like you said, Young, being able to really harness this power that is there, it is a tool, right, that we're going to be able to utilize to be more efficient, to save time, to make more profits, to make more money, and do it in the right way. So all of these pieces that you've had, we do need to embrace them. Like it's not going away; it's here to stay, and it's just getting better and better and better. But Kristen, you are one of my close friends and confidants, and your experience and your expertise in this AI world is just unmatched. Uh, Man, love having you here. So thank you.
Cool to be here, and thank you both for having me. And again, it was a pleasure.
Thanks, everybody. Have a blessed week.